Greetings. Today we will explore the question, what are the biggest mistakes people make when dieting? Before we dive in, let's destroy a foundational lie. Dieting isn't a willpower problem, it's a biology problem. The reason you fail isn't that you're weak or undisciplined, it's because you're working against your own hormones, metabolism, and nervous system. We evolved over hundreds of generations to be super conservative with our acquisition, ingestion, assimilation, and storage of energy. Fat is by far our largest storage depot of energy. It is like money in the bank when it comes to survival. That's why it is so easy to put on fat and so difficult to lose it once it's there. Once you understand this, everything changes. Now let's talk about the 8 mistakes that actually matter. I'm the digital avatar of Dr. Max MacCloud, aka the Nutrition Ninja Doc. His passion and purpose are to solve health problems to help people achieve their health, performance, and appearance goals. He utilizes AI to save time, allowing him to spend it helping others. With over 45 years of clinical experience, he has acquired extensive specialized health-related knowledge that he wants to share, which is why he produces videos. Please note that this is not medical advice. It is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Consult your trusted progressive healthcare provider before making any significant changes in your health regimen. Now, let's get back to today's topic, but before that, I ask you to please hit the like button if you find this information helpful. Subscribing to this channel helps get this information to more people. The problem. People assume that if 500 calories below maintenance is good, then 1,000 plus calories below is better. Congratulations, you found the express lane to metabolic disaster. Why this fails. Extreme deficits tank. Thyroid function. Cortisol skyrockets. Hello, visceral fat storage. Muscle loss accelerates rapidly. Metabolism adapts downward faster than a politician's promises. Hunger hormones spike, making compliance impossible. The reality. People with aggressive deficits often lose more muscle than fat, end up weaker and softer looking, and then regain all the weight plus interest when they resume normal eating. The fix. Target 300 to 500 calorie deficits maximum. Yes, it takes longer, but you'll actually keep the weight off because you haven't incinerated your metabolism in the process. The problem. People focus on cutting calories without ensuring adequate protein. Their muscle tissue gets cannibalized like a medieval siege. Why this destroys results. Muscle is metabolically active. Losing it means your metabolism gets progressively slower. You end up skinny fat, lighter on the scale, but still jiggly and weak. Hormonal dysfunction accelerates. Testosterone drops, cortisol rises. Your body has zero incentive to preserve the muscle you do have. The fix, prioritize protein. Aim for 0.8 to 1 g per pound of lean body weight minimum. This is non-negotiable if you want to maintain muscle while losing fat. Eggs, fish, grass-fed beef, and poultry make up the foundation of every meal. The problem. People obsess over diet and exercise while sleeping 5 to 6 hours nightly, then wonder why results stall despite doing everything right. Why sleep matters. Sleep deprivation increases cortisol and ghrelin, hunger hormone, by 30 to 50%. Leptin, satiety hormone, drops dramatically. Insulin sensitivity declines. Your body preferentially stores fat under poor sleep conditions. Recovery from workouts becomes impossible. The reality, poor sleep can completely negate a perfect diet and exercise program. You literally cannot optimize body composition on inadequate sleep. The fix, make 7 to 9 hours nightly non-negotiable. This single change often produces better results than any dietary optimization. The problem. People spend hours doing cardio while neglecting strength training, then wonder why they look flabby despite being thin. Why this fails. Excessive cardio increases cortisol, especially in women. Insufficient strength training means muscle loss accelerates during a deficit. Result? You get smaller, but not more defined or fit. Metabolism adapts to cardio, making it progressively less effective. You end up weaker and softer, exactly the opposite of what you wanted. The fix, prioritize strength training 3 to 4x weekly. Add cardio as supplementary work, not the main event. This preserves, builds muscle, while creating the deficit needed for fat loss. The problem. People follow influencer diets, celebrity protocols, or generic meal plans without considering their individual metabolic reality, hormone levels, food tolerances, or lifestyle. Why generic diets? Fail. What works for a 25-year-old CrossFit athlete won't work for a 45-year-old desk worker. Hormonal differences make the same diet produce wildly different results. Microbiome differences affect food tolerance dramatically. Compliance plummets when the diet doesn't fit your actual life. You're essentially following instructions designed for someone else's body. The fix. Get your metabolism assessed by someone who actually understands functional medicine. Work with someone who designs protocols for you, not a cookie-cutter approach that worked for someone's Instagram photos. The problem. People follow perfect diets but struggle because the thyroid is underperforming. Their insulin sensitivity is shot, their cortisol is dysregulated, or their sex hormones are imbalanced. Why this matters. Thyroid dysfunction. You literally cannot lose fat efficiently. Insulin resistance, fat loss becomes exponentially harder despite caloric deficit, cortisol dysregulation. Visceral fat accumulates despite dieting. Low testosterone, progesterone. Metabolism slows. Fat loss stalls mysteriously. The reality, you cannot supplement your way out of hormonal dysfunction. You can diet perfectly and still fail if your hormones aren't optimized. The fix, get comprehensive hormone testing. Assess thyroid, TSH, free T3, free T4 antibodies, fasting insulin, cortisol rhythm, and sex hormones. Then actually address dysfunctions instead of just counting calories. The problem. People nail their diet and exercise consistently, then wonder why they're still carrying belly fat. Meanwhile, they're stressed about work, relationships, finances, and whether they're following the diet right. Why this tanks results. Chronically elevated cortisol. Preferentially deposits fat viscerally, belly. Stress impairs digestion and nutrient absorption. Recovery from training suffers. So adaptation diminishes, immune function tanks, sleep quality deteriorates further. The reality, you cannot diet your way out of chronic stress. The stress hormones will override your caloric deficit every single time. The fix, implement actual stress management that you'll stick with. Meditation, breathwork, yoga, time in nature, therapy, pick something and do it consistently. This is as important as your diet and exercise combined. The problem, people obsess over food calories while casually consuming juice, smoothies, alcohol, fancy coffee drinks, and sports drinks, completely oblivious to the caloric bomb they're detonating. Why this destroys. Results. Liquid calories don't trigger satiety the way solid food does. You can consume 500 plus calories in beverages without feeling remotely full. Blood sugar spikes and crashes more dramatically. Many beverages contain inflammatory seed oils and processed ingredients. You're literally undoing your dietary discipline with a few sips. The reality, those healthy smoothies often contain more calories and sugar than a burger, and you don't even feel satisfied afterward. The fix. Drink water, black coffee if you must have coffee, tea, and other zero-calorie beverages. If you need flavor, add lemon or lime. No, that won't work for coffee. Alcohol, keep it minimal or eliminate it if you're serious about results. The calories add up faster than you think, and they provide zero satiety. The problem, people expect consistent weekly fat loss and get demoralized when progress fluctuates, which it always does due to basic human biology. Why progress isn't linear. Hormonal cycles affect water retention significantly. Training adaptations cause temporary water retention in muscles. Digestion and bowel movements create daily fluctuations of 2 to 4 pounds. Stress and sleep quality affect scale weight dramatically. Women's hormonal cycles create 5 to 7 pound weekly variations. The reality, progress is measured over weeks and months, not days. Someone might gain 3 pounds in a week due to water retention while actually losing 2 pounds of fat. The fix, track weight weekly and average it over 4 weeks. Use progress photos and measurements as primary markers. The scale is one data point among many, and a terrible one if checked daily. The problem, people diet for 4 to 6 weeks, see modest results, then abandon it because progress seems slow or they get bored. Why this fails. Real metabolic adaptation takes 4 to 6 weeks minimum to become noticeable. Initial weight loss is often water. Fat loss accelerates after week 3 to 4. Building new habits takes 8 to 12 weeks to feel automatic. Stopping prematurely means zero long-term results. You're quitting right when things are about to click. The fix, commit to a minimum of 12 weeks before assessing whether an approach is working. Most people quit exactly when the process is beginning to work. Most dieting failures aren't about willpower or finding the right diet. They're about working against your biology instead of with it, ignoring lifestyle factors that matter more than diet itself, expecting linear progress from a decidedly non-linear system, not addressing underlying metabolic dysfunction, treating dieting as a temporary restriction instead of a sustainable practice change. The people who lose weight and keep it off aren't following some exotic protocol. They're doing boring fundamentals consistently, eating adequate protein, sleeping adequately, managing stress, moving their body intelligently, and addressing any underlying metabolic issues. Stop looking for the perfect diet. Start addressing why your current approach isn't working. The answer is rarely you need a different diet. It's usually your lifestyle, hormones, or expectations are misaligned. Ready to actually identify what's sabotaging your progress. At the Age Reversal Technology Center in Lakewood Ranch/Sarasota, we don't just recommend a diet and wish you luck. We assess your complete metabolic picture, thyroid function, hormone levels, insulin sensitivity, gut health, and lifestyle factors. Then we create a personalized protocol that addresses the actual barriers to your success, whether that's hormonal optimization, peptide support, nutrient repletion, or lifestyle restructuring. Because generic advice is why 95% of people regain the weight. Personalized, systematic intervention is why 5% don't. Your dieting failures aren't your fault. They're the result of following advice designed for someone else. Let's change that. Contact us at 941-806-5511 ARTC Health.